Hi, welcome to the Sage's Cabin podcast. I'm your host, Rox Madeira. So grab a cup of tea and come and join me in the Sage's Cabin as we chat about everything from herbal gardening, herbal medicine, movement practices, wild food, postnatal and just general well-being. Today I'm talking to Vicky and Janice about their workshop at the Scottish Wild Food Festival. We're talking about fermented foods and wild foods and how great they are when you pair the two of them together. So I hope you enjoy the podcast.
There you go.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi Janice. Hi Vicky.
Hi, Rox.
Welcome to the podcast. We
Thank you.
are very much looking forward to having you at the Wild Food Festival. So we would just like to maybe introduce yourselves and just tell me a little bit about what each of you do in each of your businesses.
Right, well, I'm Janice Klein of Nourished by Nature. I'm on Instagram as Be Nourished by Nature, and I'm all about the natural world, mostly about fermenting things and gut health. I've been researching gut health for about the last 10 years, and I've gone back into all the traditional processes of fermentation, veggies, kombucha, kefir, sourdough, and that's the way to go for our health. It's all about getting back to basics, getting back to nature. Nature has us covered. We've got everything we need, and fermentation is just how to preserve it so that it sort of gives you the most benefits for your health. So I'm also all about food and flavours. A bit like Vicky, I'm absolutely food obsessed. And so I spend my time trying to think, how can I add more probiotic, prebiotic fibre to all the foods that I make? We both do vegan, we're plant-based. So we just spend most of our time trying to think of different ways that we can incorporate all the wonderful things that grow, that we can forage, how we can incorporate them into actually delicious dishes. So Vicky's incredibly good at that from the forage. I'm more for the fermenting side. And again, fermenting things is actually the best way to preserve anything, and you end up with something better than you started with, which is totally cool. So it's all about harnessing the power of microbes and nature, and it's a magical world indeed that tastes absolutely amazing. It's incredible for your gut health, and it just supports your health in every level. So that's my thing. So I'm totally obsessed. I'm like literally fermented inside and out. I think I'll probably live till I'm about 120 because I eat fermented stuff all the time. If I'm not eating it, I'm thinking about it, I'm researching it, I put it in my skin. I use all probiotic skincare as well. So I'm just as natural as it's possible for me to be. And I feel great. As I say, I've got to the age that I am with absolutely no major health issues. I'm absolutely 100% fit, well and healthy, and that's the way that I intend to be.
It's such a fascinating subject, isn't it? Fermenting.
It's absolutely endlessly fascinating, and it's a hot topic at the moment, as you know, because of all the, how it boosts your immunity. 70% of your immune system is in your gut. It's massively impacted by the foods that you eat, and fermented foods are like super fertilizer for your gut bacteria. They're pre-digested, they're broken down, they're really high in vitamins, everything in them becomes more bioavailable. So it's like the microbes unlock all the really good stuff so that your body can absorb it. And it makes all sorts of wonderful flavours as well because of the acidity that preserves the foods. It gives a fantastic sort of umami kind of flavour to the food as well. So it's just it's totally addictive. I have to say, I have to tell people that if they ever come to workshops, you'll end up buying jars, your fridge will be full of stuff, your cupboards will be full of stuff. Mine is just a bit like a wee lab. There's always something fermenting away, whether it's kombucha, it's fermented veggies, sourdough or whatever. So it's just the best fun. And
you need an extra fridge.
You need an extra fridge, and you'll get all sorts of comments about people saying, "What's that funny smell?" And it's like that. It's just my vegetables fermenting. But yeah, they might smell odd, but that's a very small negative thing. And they don't always smell really bad anyway.
Yeah, people often kind of nervous about like fermenting, aren't they, because of the whole microbes thing. We've got this
people we're all scared of germs. That's the thing. People lump bacteria in and think all bacteria is bad, when in actual fact 99% of it is beneficial, and we'd be totally dead without bacteria because we're more bacteria than we are human cells. Our body is full, it's teeming with microbes, and the key thing is for your health is to have more of the good ones than the bad ones. And that's again where it's like the diversity from being out foraging and then fermenting stuff. It just gives you the best possible health. I mean, it really does, because diversity equals resilience for your health. Diversity means the stuff that you can forage you can't buy it in the shop, so you're getting a whole load more stuff that your gut bacteria absolutely love. The more you feed them, the more they do for you. So they reduce inflammation, they fight cancer cells, boost your metabolism. They do all sorts of things. It's magic. It's like having your own wee internal pharmacy.
Yeah.
So you don't need to do drugs. We don't do any drugs at all. We just go to nature, and that's where most of the drugs come from anyway. And we'll let Vicky have a word in, because she knows all about the foraging and the medicine side of it. I'm more about the fermenting side of it. So this is my lovely friend Vicky, who the two of us together are just like, it's a match made in heaven. I tell you, foraging and fermenting is just a match made in heaven, isn't it?
Yeah,
Totally match made. So I'll let Vicky have a wee go.
Well, she's a bit healthier than I am.
No, not at all. You're incredibly healthy.
I could eat more sugar.
Well, I drink wine, actually. I drink wine most nights.
I don't drink.
I drink coffee as well.
That's fermented as well.
Yes, it's totally fermented, and it's full of good stuff. Absolutely, it's got polyphenols. That's good for your gut.
Yep.
Yes, but no, I do drink. Vicky doesn't, but anyway, never mind.
Yeah. Oh, right. Well, I'm Vicky from the Little Foragers Kitchen. So I do guided walks and workshops, helping people to reconnect with nature and identify all the wild plants that they can consume or use medicinally or wildcraft with, because nature provides. It doesn't just provide food; it provides everything actually. So food, medicine, it provides the clothes that we wear. It provides shelter for us. It provides the source for heating our homes. It literally provides everything. So I'm all about trying to reconnect people with that lost knowledge that we used to have a few hundred years ago, that we've just become so disconnected with. We all live in little brick boxes, without any connection. We all spend lots of time trying to kill everything that we don't think should be going in our gardens. And a lot of it we can actually eat. You can spend weeks and weeks feeding vegetables in the garden, and there's a good chance that they're going to get eaten by the slugs and they're going to die. But there'll be other things there that you can eat, like dandelions and the thistles, and
ground elder grows everywhere in my garden.
Yeah, there's lots and lots of wild plants that will quite happily flourish without any care and attention at all whatsoever, but we just overlook them.
You spend a lot of time, don't they, with weed killers trying to get rid of them.
Oh,
I know. Yeah. My wee motto is, if you can't beat them, eat them. That's it. Eat all the weeds.
Yeah.
And of course, yes, absolutely, yes, don't you? Yeah, that's where Vicky, but obviously very good with all the identification.
But even the plants that are toxic to us, you can, they've got a use. They've got a use for us as well. For example, look at Foxgloves digitalis. Is a heart medication.
Yeah, it's kind of just knowing how to use it in a right way, isn't it? A safe way.
So that's basically what I do.
So you guys are coming to do a workshop together. So do you want to talk to us about that, what you're going to be doing? And you're doing a free talk as well, right?
Yes, we're doing a free talk. What are we doing the free talk? I think we changed our mind, didn't we? Well, we're going to do a general one, I think, on foraging and gut health and immunity. Because coming into the autumn, again, we should be supporting our immunity really all year round, but coming into the autumn, and again, as I say, whatever's happening with all the coronavirus stuff, or other variants or whatever, it's all about supporting your immunity. And the best way to do that is actually by, feeding your gut microbiome. So,
because the forage itself has a beneficial effect on your microbiome, doesn't it? Yeah,
an amazing effect. And again, it's that diversity goes back to that, because what you get in nature, you can't buy in the supermarket. And for your gut microbiome, you've got trillions of different microbes that all like slightly different food sources. So what you're doing is you're just feeding more of them when you're doing all the wild stuff. Plus, things come up in nature when they're at the best for your health. Like in the autumn, you got all the berries. In the spring, you got all the new spring growth. So it ties in so well with actually our health. And we need to be eating more seasonally anyway. That's the way that people used to do it. So our talk, what we're going to do is Vicky's going to take everyone first to go for a foraging walk to have a wee look to see what's available.
Yeah, and hopefully collect some things to actually go into the krauts.
Yeah.
So the aim is that everybody will go away with their own unique jar of krauts that they've crafted themselves.
Yeah, and what I'll do is I'll bring all the jars, and a sauerkraut is based on cabbage, so it's hard white cabbage. I'll have all the cabbage shredded up, pre-shredded. We'll have bowls there, so it's when everyone goes away for foraging with Vicky, they come back, we'll be salting the cabbage. I'll talk through all the main things, you know, that you need to sort of be concerned about if you're fermenting anything. We'll have their bowls, we'll have our cabbage, and then we can add in whatever, you know, flowers or edible leaves or seeds or whatever, you know, we can add that to our sauerkraut. I mean, I've made lots of different krauts with like dandelions and mustard. I've done wild garlic krauts. I've done add nettle seeds to everything. So there'll be something that we'll be able to collect, and flowers are actually great to add to sauerkraut as well. And then everyone will be able to take home their jar of sauerkraut, and I'll obviously talk through all the benefits of fermented foods. But again, as I've said, it's really, fermented foods are super fertilizer for your gut bacteria. They support your immunity and every other aspect of your health. Yeah, so and also we'll have some samples to let people try, because that's the other thing. People never really know, but like sauerkraut, it is sour, and that's a flavour that we're not really that familiar with. It's the same with a lot of the forage stuff. They're sort of bitter, and that's where all the benefits are. We're used to sweet and salty. And what you get with sauerkraut is you get sour and a bit salty. And then if you're adding fermented, you get all sorts of other flavours coming in. So that's a key point as well, because sometimes people make it and then they think, oh, I don't know, that tastes unusual. Yeah. Is that how it's supposed to taste? So I'll bring a few samples along, people can try as well. But it'll be a fun day. Yeah. And yes, there'll be lots of chat and fun and laughter, a bit of exercise. Massaging cabbage, that's really good for your bingo wings. So you get in there with cabbage. It's all fun. The fun you can have massaging cabbage, you've no idea.
I've missed it, like really.
The most fantastic fun you can have out in nature, gathering stuff, picking stuff, massaging stuff. It's great fun. It's really good fun. So it'll be a fun workshop. So hopefully the weather will be kind to us, and
hopefully.
Yes, that's always the issue, isn't it, when you're doing outside things? Yeah. But as I say, foraging and fermenting is just a match made in heaven. So as I say, Vicky's an expert in foraging, bit of an expert in fermenting. So you get two experts that are totally passionate. Two for the price of one. That's exactly what you get. Yes, absolutely. And we're both always happy to help people, you know, with questions or whatever.
Yeah. So, when you're fermenting, it kind of increases some of the flavours, doesn't it? So if you've got a lot of bitter foods,
to be honest, there is a balance there. I mean, that's why if I'm doing like a wild kraut, I wouldn't do it with all wild stuff, because it can just be too intense. And the point of it is as well, nobody's going to eat something if it doesn't taste good. That's the whole thing, is it has to taste good. And a lot of the krauts are made, they're absolutely delicious. So it's like a wee bit of small amounts of different things, but your base is going to be your standard sweet white cabbage, which is a really good base. And then you're adding small amounts of other things. But if you add too many bitter things, then once you ferment them, you end up with the sour, the salty and bitter, and too much of that is really not a good thing. So you want to have a nice balance. Yeah. So as I say, I've done various different ones. Dandelion flowers and mustard was a fantastic sauerkraut, but loads of sort of just dandelions and a tablespoon of mustard seeds. But it's fun trying different things out. But so in the world of fermenting, actually, I would say less is more. Get the salt level right so that you're fermenting safely, and then just have a bit of fun experimenting with things. You can come up with all sorts of interesting flavour variations.
I think as well, when you're adding wild ingredients into a basic sauerkraut, you've already got a jar of something that's really, really healthy for you, and really good for your immune system. But by adding in all these extra wild ingredients, even though you're only adding small amounts of things, you're increasing the diversity of the nutrients in that food source. So much.
Yeah, that's exactly what you're doing. So it's kind of less is more for the stuff that you're adding, but it's fun to just add wee different bits and pieces, and then you end up with something that's totally unique. You just collect the things that you want, and there will be plenty of stuff to collect, I'm sure. And I will bring along a nettle seed. I've got tons of nettle seeds. I'm obsessed with nettle seeds. I put nettle seeds and everything. So we'll be bringing some of them so we can add them if we can't find stuff. And you get plantain seeds, right?
Yeah, I've just got a great big huge bowl of the rib.
Oh yeah, right. Oh yeah, actually I've got some of them as well.
And the grazer plantain, and they're actually the ribwort and the grazer plantain taste quite different. They've got quite a different sort of texture when you eat them. Sort of raw, which is quite
Yeah, and again, there's that when you ferment things, they change again. So from something that's raw, when you ferment it, the flavours change and they kind of mellow out. Because I ferment garlic, I've add fermented garlic, another thing I add to everything, and the flavour totally mellows out over time. So it's all sorts of interesting stuff going on. It's absolutely fascinating. So it is a fascinating world, and it's one that we should all be knowing how to actually harness. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we're a living example of that. So we're both very well and healthy. We may be old, well, I'm a lot older than Vicky.
We're all healthy.
We're well preserved.
Well, you're looking good on it. Vicky, you're also doing a pizza making workshop.
Oh yeah,
with Adam. Yes,
with Adam. Yeah. Do you want to talk a little bit about that as well?
Yeah. I've not actually talked to Adam much about it. He's just got really volunteered me for last part.
Okay.
Yes, I think what we'll do is I'm not sure how much time we've got. If we've got a couple of hours, we'll have a wee forage first. So we'll do.
I think you a couple of hours.
Yeah, we'll collect some ingredients, some wild ingredients, and identify some other things along the way. And then we're going to cook the pieces over an open flame.
Wow.
Over a fire.
Over a fire. Fantastic.
Yeah. And basically what will happen with both the pizza and the fermentation workshops, I'll send everybody, I'll get their emails and I'll send them a list of what we've looked at on the day, and some book recommendations and further reading, etc. And I'll also send them some recipes as well.
Yeah, so will I for the fermentation bit.
Yeah, so that so it just means that they can go away and then try to make some things themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I actually share loads of recipes on I've got a Facebook page, it's just called Nourished by Nature UK. My Instagram page is Be Nourished by Nature, and Vicky shares loads of stuff as well. And I've got a blog called Blog Nourished by Nature, so there's lots of recipes and information and stuff on there as well.
You got some books as well, didn't you, on there?
I did. Yes, I had a couple of ebooks. One sort of families, another one is all about celebration foods, and all the stuff that I share is all vegan, so it's all plant-based. And that's, as I say, is what we should all be eating, more plants. It's all about plant power. Yes, powered by plants, fueled by ferments, I think is me. I was going to get a t-shirt printed saying fueled by ferment, powered by plants in the back, and fueled by ferments.
You wear it on the day.
I will wear it on the day. Yes, actually, that's a good idea. I should just get it. I have got the one that says powered by plants. We should get one each.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Vicky, what's your handle, your social media and everything?
Oh, it's just the Little Foragers Kitchen. So my website's littleforagerskitchen.com. Sorry, yeah, and then just the Little Foragers Kitchen for both Facebook and Instagram. I'm not on Twitter.
No, neither am I. No, I mean, no.
Neither am I. It's too much. I can't.
It's too much. That's right.
I get my head around that Twitter with this like tiny short sentences and stuff like this.
No, I don't like Twitter. No, I think Instagram is great. I like Instagram. Instagram is very nice, supportive community on Instagram. So yeah, that'll do me. It's enough for me.
Nice pictures and things as well.
Yeah, well, I love taking pictures. I have to say, I do take pictures. I was just taking them on my phone, but because I'm always fermenting stuff and cooking nice, I just take pictures of what I'm actually doing. It's not that I set things up in advance. I just take pictures of what I'm doing, during the day, which is usually something to do with something fermented, in some aspect or other, or foraged. But Vicky's got me as not quite as obsessed about, but I'm also so into all the foraging stuff as well, which is just fascinating. It really is. But again, it's just all about nature's got us covered.
Yeah.
We've got too far away from people are eating food that's not even classed as real food. It's so processed. There's no nutrition in it. There's no fibre in it. There's no
even the fresh food that you buy in supermarkets. It's just so sanitized. It's
even the one.
Yeah, it's washed with an inch of its life.
Washed with chlorine and all sorts of stuff going on.
There's pesticide residue, it's not organic.
Yeah.
It's just and it doesn't have the same nutritional content that it used to have when we used to grow our own food in soil that wasn't treated to prevent any pests entering it.
Yeah, and it's quite scary, isn't it, when you actually kind of start looking into it and thinking about it, and it all looks so nice.
I tell you, my first degree is agricultural chemistry, so I know quite a lot about soil and stuff as well. And it's quite frightening when you look at how things have totally degraded. But again, if you're growing stuff in a living soil that hasn't been treated with chemicals, it's a whole other ballpark. You've got all sorts of stuff going on underneath the soil with all the microbes, the fungi and the yeast. It's incredible what goes on. And when you grow crops in like sterile soil, they only add N, P and K, the 3 macronutrients that are needed for plants to grow, and then spray them so plants don't need their natural defences. And it's not all just about the nutrition. A lot of the time for organic as opposed to conventional, it's not the big things, it's not the macro, it's all the wee things that make the biggest difference to your health. And I came across research once and actually was about when you eat organic food, those plants don't want to be eaten, so they launch their sort of attack. So when you eat those plants, they kind of stimulate your own immunity. And I thought that kind of makes sense to me. Whereas plants that are grown in conventional, they don't need to have any defences because they're sprayed with chemicals, so they just stand there and grow. A boring old life, just stand and grow with the 3 major things with none of the other stuff. Whereas organic plants, there's a hell of a lot more going on.
Well, so they're literally like drugged, aren't they? They're just kind of like standing there, just waiting to be eaten or something.
Yes.
Drugs that are good for you.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, absolutely, without a doubt. But again, as I say, it's all about nature. That's what it's about. And I think there are more people are starting to realise that as we look at the state of our health, the chronic health issues that that we know that can be actually reversed. A lot of them can be reversed when you start to think again about your health coming from your gut. And if you don't nourish your gut microbes, you're not going to enjoy the best health because they harness they literally control everything in your body, produce all your 95% of your serotonin, so your happy hormones, as I say, your metabolism, your energy, your immune system, your gut microbes are in communication with your immune system all the time. And if you don't have the right balance, you're leaving yourself open to all sorts of attack from different things. But anyways, I say it's a fascinating topic. So I'll shut up because I'll be here for hours talking about it. I think we've covered what we're going to be doing, so it'll be a fantastically fun day. 2 experts for the price of 1, foraging, fermenting, trying stuff. Outdoors, fresh air. It'll be fantastic fun. Yes, and even if it is raining, we've got an undercover bit, haven't we? Yeah, we'll be undercover.
I think where the Kaylee's going to be. I think the Kaylee's have to walk.
So we'll have to hurry up and get out before the Kaylee comes in. So we'll be massaging very fast to get a cabbage to get a right one. But I'll have
a good exercise for everybody to do it a bit quicker.
Yes, we'll be doing lots of exercise. Yes, well, maybe the Kaylee band could play music because it's quite fun when you're massaging cabbage to have some music in the background.
It's not like a Kaylee. It's a traditional kind of storytelling Kaylee rather than
brilliant
music.
That
Kaylee.
Sounds fantastic. Excellent. So yes, we are looking forward to it. So it'll be a fantastic day, I'm sure. Yes. And then Vicky's pizza thing, that sounds fantastic as well. I mean,
that's on Sunday, isn't it, the pizza?
Yeah.
Am I right?
Saturday and Sunday. Yeah, I think it's straight after the fermentation on Saturday, and then I think it's like 11 in the morning on Sunday.
Okay. Yeah. So you can take your ferment with you and add it onto your pizzas.
Yeah.
As long as you've tasted anyway.
Absolutely.
That sounds like a plan to you.
That does sound like a good plan. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's great. Thanks for chatting with me and telling us all about what you do in your workshop. And I will see you at the festival.
Yes, you will indeed. Pleasure to speak to you.
So if you enjoyed that and you want to come along and meet Vicky and Janice and join in with their workshop, the tickets are on sale now, and the tickets for the Scottish Wild Food Festival are on sale now as well. So if you just go to the website www.scottishwildfoodfestival.co.uk, it's being held on the 18th and the 19th September at Tiernanog near Drummond, just outside of Glasgow. If you enjoyed the podcast, please like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.